In its simplest terms, the NFL salary cap is an accounting mechanism designed to guard against overspending and maintain a degree of parity or equality within the league. But it is pretty complicated and it can be confusing for fans to figure out. So with that in mind, here's how it works and why it matters. The NFL first introduced the salary cap in 1994 as essentially a threshold for how much each team can spend on its players' salaries in a given season. Previously, the Players' Union had sued the league in a case similar to soccer's landmark Bosman ruling, arguing that they should be free to move teams when their contracts expire. In exchange for the adoption of free agency in 1993, the players agreed that the league could implement a salary cap to curb spending the following year. And the very first salary cap was set at $35.6 million per team, which of course wouldn't get you very far today. Teams are allowed to be over the cap during the off-season, but must be compliant with the cap figure once the new league year officially begins. At that point, the salaries of all 53 rostered players, anyone on the injured reserve or physically unable to perform lists, and the practice squad are included and counted as part of the salary cap. The salaries of coaches, staff, and executives, however, are not. Now, the NFL monitors all player contracts to ensure that teams are compliant with the cap. Any teams found to be circumventing the spending limit are liable to fines and the loss of draft picks, as the San Francisco 49ers discovered in 2022 when an accounting error caused them to go over the cap. The salary cap figure is determined by the league's collective bargaining agreement, or CBA. This is the contract between the NFL, the team owners, and the players, which, among other things, states what percentage of the league's overall revenue must be apportioned to player salaries. Under the current CBA, the players are entitled to 48% share of the total revenue. That figure, minus a portion that is committed to player benefits such as pension schemes and health insurance, is then divided up between the 32 teams to arrive at the cap number. For the 2025 NFL season, the salary cap will be set at $279.2 million per team, a record high, and an increase of $23.8 million from the previous season's figure. The cap has risen by more than $100 million since 2018 and by nearly $200 million since 2005. It's a direct reflection of the NFL's rapid growth at home and around the world in recent years. And since its introduction, the salary cap has increased every season, with the exception of 2021, when a downturn in revenue caused by the COVID-19 pandemic caused the cap to decrease from 2020's figure of $198.2 million to $182.5 million. Next, while teams are not obliged to spend the full salary cap amount, there is a bottom level of salary spending that they must exceed, set at 89% of the cap figure across a 4-season period. As a whole, the NFL is required to spend at least 95% of the cap. Now, salary caps are commonplace in American sports, but they're not always the same. The NBA, for example, uses what's referred to as a soft cap, in which the top-end spending limit is less rigid and teams willing to pay an additional premium or luxury tax to overspend can do by utilizing a set of loopholes known as exceptions. The NFL's spending limit, on the other hand, is a hard cap. This means that teams cannot go over the predetermined threshold. And so, those close to the limit who wish to continue and add to their rosters have to employ some quirky accounting tricks. Fans will often hear about a player's contract being restructured, for example. This usually means that a large chunk of said player's salary has been converted into a bonus payment. And although these bonuses are usually paid in full to the player immediately, they can be stretched across the length of a contract for accounting purposes, thus creating more cap space for the team. Teams must also be aware of the dreaded dead money. This refers to a sum that is still owed to a player who's been released or traded away already. Although the player is no longer on the team, and indeed might now be playing for a rival, the full amount of money guaranteed to them in their previous contract must still be paid and will count against the cap. One of the most egregious cases of dead money came when the Denver Broncos released quarterback Russell Wilson ahead of the 2024 season. The Broncos were shackled with an NFL record $53 million of dead money for the season, plus an extra charge of $32 million for 2025. Meanwhile, Wilson signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers on a veteran's minimum contract, which cost the Steelers just $1.2 million for the year, and he helped them to the playoffs. But the Broncos were not alone in their absorption of serious sunk costs through dead money. As teams have become increasingly willing to take a financial hit in order to move on from players they no longer want, there were 8 players whose release or trade cost their former team in excess of $20 million in 2024, a stark rise from just 3 the year before. Now, it's not impossible to succeed in the NFL while carrying significant dead cap money. The reigning Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, had a dead cap hit of over $63 million in the 2024 season, the 8th highest in the league. But of the last 14 Super Bowl winning teams, the Eagles were only the third to get their hands on the Vince Lombardi trophy while absorbing more than $20 million in dead money. So, the NFL salary cap is a simple concept, but it's actually a web of complexity. Mastering its intricacies is a crucial facet of successful team building.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to the best team of sports writers, reporters, and analysts in the world, offering exclusive stories and unrivaled insight. You can try The Athletic for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.